Hello, I'm Callan.
And I'm Honey Panda Bunny.
And with the release of Saint Snow's first single, we thought now would be a perfect celebration of the group. But who is Saint Snow?
Well, Saint Snow is Aqua's rival group. As if you've seen the anime, you'll know. That consists of Leah and Sarah. So Sarah's the older sister and Leah is the younger sister. At first they're against Aqua's,
they're
but then
more
they...
antagonistic initially.
And then slowly they start to come together and start working together, and by the time of the movie, they're confiding in one another.
So Saint Snow are quite unique. We had a previous group, Arise. They only had a couple of singles, they were never really made a big deal. But Saint Snow is interesting because this is the first time they've taken like a group from the anime. They've got their own music video, released their own singles that I talked about at the start of this. What is it that you like about Saint Snow?
I love their baby metal alternative sound to them. The idea of a sibling group. With us two being siblings, I've always connected with them really closely because of that. The way Leah relies on Sarah. But not only just that, the way Sarah also relies on Leah is a really interesting dynamic, and it's nice to be able to see those two characterized together and be able to see them grow without having to battle with other girls. While instead of it being a big group, it's a tiny group, so you get to see how they evolve. And it's nice against...
As a duo, they are very different from the other groups that we've got.
Yeah, it's nice against Arise as well.
Yeah, as someone who always wanted Arise to be something, I was so happy to see them react to Saint Snow's popularity and really push them. They literally got to perform at the Lovelive Fest this year, which I think was amazing. They performed alongside the other three other groups, which is quite a phenomenon for what was initially just a rival group.
But I'm really glad that they're expanding upon them instead of just leaving them to the wayside like Arise. Lovelive will always have the main group, that's the 9 girls, and then always have a rival. It was nice to be able to characterise those rivals this time. Instead of having them be a support, it had that journey with them.
So Saint Snow currently has 7 songs. For this ranking, we will not be including Awaken the Power or Over the Next Rainbow. They are both very, very good songs, but as they're joint songs collaborating with Aqua's, we feel that it doesn't fit the criteria. Now, let us begin. And at number 7, we have Crash Mind. This is quite an interesting one, I think. So you have the creepy carnival theme to it, mixed with Saint Snow's traditional like heavy rock metal. Individually, I really like all the pieces, but I don't think it gels together for me. There's just something about it that kind of holds it back, which is why I have it at the bottom.
This was my number 6 on my own personal list. I really like that toy box, like jewellery box sound at the beginning, which obviously gets mentioned later on in the second half. But I can really feel their annoyance and their like frustration in the song, which is within the song's context as well. It really suits their attitude, but like you were saying, with it all feels like a bit of a jumbled songs all put together. It has that working against it, and I always like to hear more of Leah.
A problem I have with this song is that it kind of like has a lot of stop-start. So you have the initial bit with the creepy like carnival music playing at the start, and then it has to build up again, and then it goes into the verse, and it's only really in the second verse the song starts picking up for me and I start getting into it.
It feels like it's lacking a theme, which if you put into context with the series of what at this point where this song would be if it was in the series, it kind of makes sense because it's where Saint Snow is being like, oh, I don't know whether we can actually go up against Aqua's, they're improving so much. So the idea of them losing a little bit of their confidence here almost, but still feeling determined, really works within the series. So interestingly
enough, it's actually featured very briefly in episode 5 of the second season, which is the dog episode with Rico and Yohani. It's sort of them catching up and seeing what Saint Snow are up to. As someone who kind of slept on Sarah, Leah gets a lot of the focus in the anime, and it's only when I've been listening to these songs that I've been realising how much I slept on Sarah. Her performance in this song actually carries it for me. As I said, as soon as it goes into the second verse with her leading, it's so good. And not to brag on Leah, because her voicing is amazing, as you will see in some of the later songs, and her rapping is great, but another issue I have is there's just a slight build up to the rap and suddenly it hits.
And it's also kind of raspy as well, like with it. It's got like this sound that's like overlaid on
the effect. Yeah. The effect with the chanting where it goes no more dream, no more trap. I'm not a massive fan of the effect on it either. It gargles the words. It also makes it just a little bit difficult to hear. Feels like the rap was put into it just because it's a formality.
Leah has to have her rap.
Saint Snow has to have like a rap in it. But yeah, that's just my overall thoughts. I like the individual pieces, but I just don't think it comes together.
My overall thoughts are just, I really like the song. I like the idea that they went for something a bit creepy. It kind of works with the pacing in the story of where it would be, but obviously story-wise and then outside listening to it wise are two completely different things.
This is unfortunately like what Forgotten Stepchild. At number 6, we have After the Rain.
So I really liked After the Rain, but sadly it's number 7 for me because I just don't like slow songs. It's not that I don't like them, I just can't really listen to them that much. But I think it's very soft and sweet, and my take on it is it almost feels Sarah is passing on the baton to Leah in this song. Was obviously after the movie, they have to split away from being Saint Snow, and it felt it was Sarah going, here you go, you can take this too, but then Leah being like, no, let's have one final last hurrah. It felt like a goodbye. It was interesting to hear an acoustic from Saint Snow. Their sound is usually rocky. While I'm not a fan of slow songs, I really enjoyed hearing this performance from both of them. It felt very passionate, heartfelt to one another, but it was also saying, we're moving on and you can move on with us. And I love hearing Leah have a bit more time in a song as well, and especially not having her rap either, which was super interesting.
So I have this a bit higher, I have this at 5. It's a very Christmassy song, especially with like the jingling bells at the start. I like that it builds up nicely throughout. The guitar strumming, the steady drumming, and it just builds to a nice crescendo. I think this is a really warm song. You could just be listening to it as like the rain is pouring down on the windows. You know, if you're like feeling depressed or feeling down, literally after the rain, this would pick me up. It is interesting in the sense of first third of it is Sarah singing, and then it switches over to Leah singing second third, and then in the final bit of them singing together. This song does a good job of individually showing that they're both equally strong vocal performances, and this song is the one that actually made me very interested in seeing them get solo songs.
I really love the song. I'm glad that they're going out into different sounds, not just their casual rock.
This would never be my favourite just because it's a slow song, but I do like they're experimenting with the sound Saint Snow can do. At number 5, we have Lonely Snow Planet, the quintessential Saint Snow song. If you were able to boil down like all their components, minus the rap, Leah doesn't rap in this one, but this has a really nice instrumental. It's their most heavy metal-ish of the song. It gives off a very baby metal vibe, this one. The intro in this is sick. And also, Crash Mind has a really good performance by Sarah, and After the Rain has individually good performances, but I think this is a really good one where they harmonise together. It just shows how they bounce off each other, and they just harmonise really well here. And it just shows like the strength of like a duo, I think.
For me, I really enjoyed this song. As you said, it's the bog standard Saint Snow song. I loved it, obviously. I miss Leah's rapping. But I feel in the song, it's almost like a description of the journey they've gone through, like this treacherous blizzard and these hard tasks that they've had to go through as their journey of an idol. They have the usual genre sound of rock. Leah and Sarah get equal amounts in this song, which is really nice. I love hearing them both equally in the same song, because the more that one gets to sing, it still complements it, but they complement each other even nicer when they get to sing together equally, I think. It gets you to appreciate each one of their voices instead of wanting you to go, oh, I want to hear that one's voice more.
Compared to the other songs, I feel this one's not as unique, but it is a solid addition.
It'd be really nice in a live show. It'd get everyone in the mood and get everyone really hyped up.
At number 4, we have Dropout.
So Dropout on my list was number 5, but I still really love this song. It's such a deep and mature theme for a song for them, and in the context of the anime, it also works within it as well. But as someone who's a creator, it really resonates to the audience of someone that's lost that passion and wondering when they're going to get it back, but deep inside knowing that you have to keep going forward. You can't just keep laying by and just letting it go. You have to keep fighting to try and stand back up again. In the first half, it's, oh, I'm down, I'm sullen, I feel broken, and then the second it's, we need to try and keep climbing back up. And it really reflects Leah's feelings after the incident.
This is the song that they would have performed at the Love Live competition. I believe it's in episode 8 of season 2. I get a very gothic metal theme to this. Like, you know, if this had a music video, I could see them performing this in the castle. It's like sort of like running away, dealing with your failure. And obviously this deals with during the performance, just as they're about to start, like Leah trips, and then they just can't continue from that moment. And this, along with 2 other songs that are upcoming, really tell the story of Saint Snow, and in which case this would be the middle act. This is the bit where our heroines are at their lowest of the story, and this song very much is about failure. For like Leah, this is not only her last chance to perform at the Love Live, but this is almost her last chance to perform with her sister as school idols. So there's just something really, really tragic about it. And there's a really nice bit of storytelling towards the end where Leah does her Sarah, come on, but she says it so sadly in this compared to the more energetic that she says in Self Control. She's saying it apologising, like she's sorry that she let her big sister down. But then the song in the second half is building you up. You can't just let this get you down. You may have lost your light at the moment, but you can always reclaim it.
Yeah, well, that's how I took the Sarah Come On. We were talking about it previously, and I said, oh, the way I always saw it is Leah almost being, oh, well, I've taken accountability. We just need to get back up and get going to it. I feel Leah sees them as two individuals in a group, whereas with Sarah, she's always seen them as a unit. And I don't think Sarah's ever seen Leah as someone that's made her fail. She's always seen it as, oh, not one of us have failed. We've both failed here.
And I think that shows it in the song as well, because they actually have very clear roles in the lyrics. When Sarah's singing, she's saying, where is your light gone? Leah, you have to find your light. And then whenever it cuts to Leah's rap, which may be my favourite rap of Leah's in all of the songs, her rapping here is amazing. And whenever it cuts to her singing, she's talking about like grounding, losing her passion, and her direction is like being corrupted by these feelings because of what she feels she's done to the group. It's maybe my favourite story of the 7. Like, there's just so many layers to this song. It's just amazing.
It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it's a banger as well.
The sound, how heavy it is, how perfect it is.
As someone who loves like gothic music, this is right on my alley.
Yeah, we said previously that was the staple like Saint Snow song. For me, this is the one that's got that bit of maturity and edge to it, as well as having the classic sound. The idea of them dealing with like such depressing themes as well is so interesting. Not that Love Live's not done this before, but this one feels so like it resonates so deeply with a lot of.
At number 3, we have Self Control, and I absolutely love this song. I honestly thought this would have been my number 1. This song is amazing. The sound of it just straight up rocks. It tells 2 stories. It tells they're challenging Aquas with this song, telling them you have to be on your A game if you want to be able to perform at Love Live. And even though after the song is finished, they talk about how, oh wow, Saint Snow are top grade idols, but then it turns out that out of the 30 that performed at that one, they were only 9th, which just shows, you know, you have to step up if you want to perform. I love the English chanting throughout this, the go 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 and the chance time and the dance now. It all just sounds absolutely amazing. This basically has sort of the key gimmicks that were performed in all these later songs that we're listening to at the moment. You're just seeing the first form here. As well, you know when they're performing, they're saying best mind, best live, and I want to believe that I'm the best. It's also not just them singing to Aquas, challenging them, almost like they're psyching themselves up.
When I first heard this song from Saint Snow, I knew like I'd never forget it. A fantastic song, and it's the staple for Saint Snow. I love the rock and the urgency to succeed in this song, and as they rocked Aqua's socks off, they also rocked mine off. I remember when I first heard this song, I got goosebumps of how good it sounded, and hearing that rock in the Love Live anime for like the first time was such a shock to hear. Obviously, you know, Aqua's like cutesy sound, and then in contrast having Saint Snow's rock. But even though they were like antagonistic in quote marks, this song still never felt like an antagonist like song. When it came to Saint Snow, their songs really were the best, and it was always, oh, you have to keep reaching this level, and that it really pulls off really, really well. And we get to see Leah's perfect rapping as usual. This was her first rap, loved it. It blew my socks off, and I still find myself singing and dancing to the song now.
So going off to my earlier idea in Dropout, that it is the middle portion of their story. Well, this is actually the start. This is where our heroines beginning their tale. Sort of you alluded to it. There's just this hint of desperation in it. They know that they're running out of time. There's only so much time that they have together to be able to perform and to be able to win the Love Live.
It's that like live fast and hard.
It's even told in the song itself. It's like with the music, like a build-up. It feels like towards the end of it, there's like a countdown. It just screams DDR to me. You know, with the chanting, and it just feels like you'd perform this. You'd be doing all the complex dance routine, and it's overall just like such a good song. At number 2, we have Dazzling White Town.
This is my absolute favourite. I love it. It's so funky, so fresh. I really like the sounds because it keeps you guessing on what kind of genre's coming next. You have that rock, you have that pop, and then you suddenly go into this jazzy-like music in the second half. It's really nice, and I really love that they're so energetic. They just seem so happy in this song, and it's so fun, and it's great, and it's lovely to dance to. This feels celebrating. This feels like they've come out of the blizzard that was like in Lonely Snow Planet, and they're having a celebration, and everything that's come up to this point, they're happy that they've come this far.
In a way, this represents their success as being the group so popular, and then this is them reaping the rewards. This is like a really, really good song. This is my number 3. This of 2 songs feel big time. They feel like they were designed to be performed in large stadiums filled with tens of thousands of people.
This one deserves its PV. That's what I thought when I listened to it. I was like, this on of that album, this one definitely definitely has the PV potential. I realise why they put so much production value into it.
It's colourful, it's flashy, you can just feel the EDM and like the K-pop vibes here. There's just so much energy in this song, there's so much passion that you can tell. It's very chantable as well, the We Love music and the White Town. It's like a party song as well, like with the background music. It's just got that beat to it that gets your head shaking. You just can't help chant along.
Each song's a party, but a different party on this album. So you have your core K-poppy party song here, then the Lonely Snow Planet is their rock party, then you've got that acoustic slow mellow out. So it feels like a journey on the album itself, to be honest. You have the party, the journey through it, and then the slow rest after.
I think you commented on it as well, that this song really highlights Leah's rapping ability. In her rap, it feels very much that K-pop inspired.
It feels so fun. Each of them feel like they're having so much fun with this, and I can imagine that they'd also have so much fun performing this live, like you said. I think the crowd would love it, and I think that the performers would love it too. I know this isn't to do with the song, but I think the outfits work really well with the song as well. Nice. Everything about the music video, the outfits, it all complements each other so perfectly.
Like this has like a retro beat to it, and then the video also is like, it's set in like an arcade. They go into the arcade machine, and there's like Beat Sabers and all that.
It feels so old yet so fresh at the same time.
It's sort of like
it's like a meet in the middle. You know that rise in like 80s pop aesthetic that's came back. It feels that Macintosh like vaporwave version.
It's got that aesthetic in the sound and in the video, and then also in the performances as well.
I really liked Leah's rap in the second half because she cuts off Sarah, and it feels like Leah's having so much fun that she can't help but keep singing and getting it out there.
Yeah, it's like to Cinder energy.
She feels so happy that she can't keep it in, and she just keeps rolling with it. And I think that Sarah loves it. She's just so happy that they're both having
Watching
fun.
Her little sister have fun. Yeah, as a big sister does. And at number 1, we have Believe Again. This is easily my number 1. This song is a banger. It hits with impact. This is the other song that I think is just built for a big stage, filled with like tens of thousands of people like chanting the name, screaming. You know, when the song starts, it starts with a bang and it just keeps building up from there. I can just see fireworks going off in the background. If Self-Control is the first act, sort of showing the start of their journey, sort of the desperation, Dropout is them at their lowest, it's where they're dealing with their failure, then this song is the triumphant final act. They've been able to pick themselves up. I mean, this song literally starts with Sarah talking about having Leah's found her light, which is a callback to Dropout. You could play these songs back to back and it would tell you a continuous story.
I had this ranked at 2. This song feels, the Believe Again is so desperate to be like, keep that strength that you have now, keep that strength and that ability that you found, and try and not let it go again. It sounds so desperate, but in a positive way. It, like you mentioned with Sarah to Leah, I also thought that it was almost like Sarah singing it to Leah of, oh, let's celebrate and don't forget that this happiness that you found, but also you'll find that sadness again too. But you have to keep coming back up on top. So you have to believe, not just again, but believe in yourself as well.
This song is also featured in the movie finale, the conclusion to the Saint Snow story, and is easily the highlight of the movie, and this song just tops it off perfectly. I also really love Dropout was the one that they would have performed at the tryout. This was the song that they would have performed at the finals. So to see in the movie, Sarah and Aqua conclude this plan to create their own little mini Love Live so that Leah can finally perform with Sarah on their stage that they always wanted to perform.
So if this is their like last hurrah, Dazzling
Well,
White
I wouldn't
Town...
consider it their last hurrah.
I'm not going to say last hurrah, but what I'm saying is, in context to the series, this would be like the last time that Sarah and Leah could perform together.
Yes.
In the anime, Dazzling White Town is, oh, this is our big after party. So if this was the end, Dazzling White Town's the after party, and it's a party that's never going to stop. I feel like their party will never end. That's what this Believe Again feels like. It's going, believe in us again, because we're not going to stop now.
Yeah.
Because they're not. Everything about this song really helps you to move forward from where Saint Snow's going now. You can see the direction, and like you said, they mentioned like, oh, you have to change.
Yeah, in the song it's very inspirational. There's the line, you have the memories you have, but we can't like stop change. So instead of changing, let's evolve for our dreams, which I think is just like a very amazing way of putting that.
And in this song, as they've said that line, the song kind of goes into this like low R&B almost like sound in the second half.
Yes.
And then with that, oh,
the
we have to,
changes, it evolves.
And then with this, oh, we have to evolve. That's what Dazzling White Town felt as well. If Self-Control was them crawling, Believe Again is them walking, and Dazzling White Town is them running.
Yeah.
Every song continues to complement.
Believe Again is their hard work bearing through, and then White Dazzling Town is
them celebrating that hard
celebrating
work.
that success, exactly. And that brings an end to our Saint Snow ranking. What are your final thoughts?
With Saint Snow, they've always been a really big favourite of mine, and I've always gotten really excited whenever new songs come out for them. So this album really meant a whole lot to me. Sarah and Leah, with them being siblings and relying on each other so much, it's always reminded me of us two.
Exactly.
And that's why I feel like I've grasped onto them so much. So they make me very emotional. That was the reason why I've always liked Saint Snow over Aquas. As Aquas did put the work in, I won't deny that they didn't, but within the context of the story, felt like Leah and Sarah had so many more trials and tribulations.
This story could have very easily been like a 13 episode series on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why I've always preferred them. That was something I always loved about Saint Snow. Always felt like they were experimenting with new sounds, from that creepy genre to that gothic genre to the rock and roll to the like R&B to the K-pop aesthetic. And I really liked that they were constantly changing it up, and I feel like it's really reflected in their music as well, of their journey.
So you're a really big Saint Snow stan.
I am a Saint Snow stan.
Yeah, Saint Snow fan. I do really like Saint Snow. I'm not as in love with them as you are. Mostly I'm just really happy the franchise is realising that they can do more with these rival characters. They introduced these really cool characters, and I'm really glad that in the second season they took a chance on them. They incorporated them more in the story, and we got our first ever crossover where we got the Saint Aqua's Snow, which led to like a really good story arc, which did so much for like Ruby's character and Leah's character, and I was just so happy.
It's those parallels, yeah.
Exactly.
It was being able to have those parallels from the team and have something in common. Keep the story going for Leah and Sarah as well.
It makes me happy for the franchise that they're willing to experiment, and I'm definitely excited to see where they go forward with Saint Snow. I'd definitely like to see them in the All-Stars game. That is definite, and I feel that they will feature them at some point. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any suggestions, advice, please list down your favourite Saint Snow song. We'd love to hear them. Bye!
Bye!